Good evening, everybody. It is Friday. Here we are in downtown Miami. We're only going to be on for about 1 hour. I was supposed to be on earlier, but it was a very, very busy day at work. But the S&P 500 closed solidly above its 50-day moving average. So we are now back in an uptrend, and also we now have a record weekly close for Bitcoin, reaching an all-time high for its weekly close. So we'll talk about that. Hey, Maria O, what's going on? D Street Media, Paul Greenwell. How are you? Zio says one. What's up, Mark? How is everybody? Ernesto says, hey, what's up from South Los Angeles? Hope everybody is well. Hey, Two Wheel Pines is here. I see you. Pablo. Lady Orleans says, hey, Tom and everybody. What's up, guys? It's only going to be a short stream, 1 hour. I apologize for being on so late. Dante Rose says, yo, big up yourself. What's up, Dante Rose? How are you? Sunshine After Rain says, hi, Tom. Good to see you. Cynthia's here. What's up, Cynthia Martinez? Pablo says, hey, Tom. D Street Media. David says, hey, Tom. Que pasa? Nada más, David. What's up? Michelle Cunningham, how are you? Hope everybody's well. So this is the trolley. This is the trolley, and this one is free. So the bus, I believe, is like $2, $2.25, but the trolley, if you want to take it in downtown Miami, it's free. Lee says that means 3 hours. No, I actually set a timer on my watch, so I promise everybody it's only going to be an hour. And I was supposed to do a sunset stream here in my Sunny Isles, but I just got way too busy with work. Hey, Rhino305 is here. Says, hi, Professor. I missed the last 2 finance classes, but I'm here tonight. Rhino, good to see you. Gigi NYC says, hello, everybody, and Tom. What's up, Gigi? How are you, Gigi NYC? Dante Rose says, big up is a next word for shout out, Tom. Thank you, Dante. I appreciate you. So everybody, we had a big week on Wall Street. We had all of the major investment banks reporting earnings. Most recently, we had not JP Morgan Chase. That was on Monday. We had Bank of America reporting extremely good earnings. And now the S&P 500 is sitting well above its 50-day moving average. So I'm expecting all-time record highs by the end of November for the S&P. And we were talking about this, and I think the market was really waiting and looking to see how financial earnings were going to turn out, right? So usually going into earnings season, we'll have a little bit of a risk-on environment, a little bit of a correction, but it looks like the financial banks, investment banks, reported pretty solid earnings reports. So I think we should be in the clear, and the VIX has since collapsed all the way down to the teens. David says, thanks, Biden. What's up, David? Cecilia Thomas says, happy Friday, everybody. What's up, Cecilia? DJ says, hola, Tom. Missed you. How are you doing? I'm doing really well. Really well. Marty Lewis says, hello, Tom and everybody. What's up, Marty Lewis? Good to see you. We are in downtown Miami, right here on US 1 Biscayne Boulevard. It's going to be a short stream. We'll time it right at an hour. Destructionist says, happy Friday. What's up, Destructionist? So tomorrow I'm going to try to do a day stream. A stream in the day in the art district of Miami. I forget what it's called, but it should be pretty beautiful if we can get around to doing that tomorrow. Charlie Richardson is here. He says, hi, Tom. What's up, Charlie Richardson? Hope you're well. We're here in downtown Miami. Hope everybody had a good week. Happy Friday. It is the weekend once again. Joey says, hi, Tom. How are you? I'm doing well, Joey. What about yourself? Michael F says, good evening. Yeah, Rhino305. That's it. Wynwood. So hopefully we will be able to get out tomorrow early in the morning. Well, maybe not that early. Maybe around 1 or 2 p.m. if I can find the time. And we will be streaming that particular location. And it's supposedly really, really beautiful down there. So we will check that out. Rhino 305, I believe it's about, what would you say? It's probably about a couple miles directly north of downtown Miami, which we are in right now. Hey, Dalton says, hello guys, hope all is well. Dalton, how are you? Happy Friday. Bottomless Coffee says, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. Indeed it is. It is the weekend. Bottomless Coffee, hope you are doing fine. Jason Watts says hello and TGIF. Jason, long time no see. Hey, Eric says, Tom, have you gotten the board out down there? I don't even have the skateboard here yet. I have to go back to New York City. Next week. So I'm flying out early Monday morning out of Miami International Airport, and I will be flying into John F. Kennedy Airport, JFK, in which case I have a lot of business meetings all next week, and I will be shipping the rest of my stuff down to Miami, Florida from New York City. Dean says, hi Tom, what's up Dean? Anna Andrews says, hello Tom, hope you had a productive day. I had a very productive day today. Busy day, but productive. Busy, productive day. I hope the same for you. A lot of road work and construction here in Miami. DJ says, beautiful night. Sunshine after rain says, happy Friday. David says, forecast for southern Florida tomorrow, 87. Feels like 95. Wow. Eric, that's insane. So it must feel like that with all of the humidity, I'm assuming, with all of the humidity. It looks like this is a tourist party bus in front of us right here. Dean says, hi Tom. Dean, hope you're well. We had a big rally week on Wall Street. Bank of America reported better than expected earnings with their credit card business exceeding analysts' expectations in terms of their overall revenue. So that's usually a good indicator about consumer spending down the line as we move into the technology sector earnings. At the end of October, we will be having all the major tech companies reporting earnings, such as Apple, Microsoft. So I'm expecting good earnings reports down the pike. Hey, Melee says, hi Tom, what's up Melee? Hope you're well. Bottomless Coffee says that guy is grooving. Yeah, I think it's sort of like New York City. Like you can rent a party bus, take a tour around the city, everything like that. M. Wall, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says orange juice fun. M. Wall, I've been drinking a ton of orange juice since I've been down here in Florida. Because I'll say the orange juice is probably 20% or 30% less than it is in New York City in terms of the cost. So I appreciate it, M. Wall. Thank you for the support. Melee, hope you're well. Vinny Castellano is here. Always good to see you, Vinny. Always good to talk to you. Hope you're doing well. Tove the Cat says LOL party bus. Tony Cortez says hello everybody from Bakersfield, California. Love Bakersfield, California. I have to get out to LA. I've never been to LA and I would love to go to LA. But Tony Cortez, thank you for joining. Vinny Castellano, how are you? Stephen Cruz says, where are the homeless people? So I do believe that there are some homeless people in Miami. However, it's going to be in a lot less frequency than there is in, let's say, Silicon Valley or even New York City. There's a lot less homeless people here in Miami, which is a good thing. But then again, I have seen my fair share of homeless people here, to be totally transparent. Hey, we have Sam here from Toronto, Canada. What's up, Sam? Hope you're doing well and happy Friday. Raneel is here. Sally is here. What's up, Sally? Says hi, Tom. Sally, hope you're doing well and happy Friday to you. M. Wall says thank you, your mods and subs, for many enchanting evenings. Thank you, M. Wall. This is the Frost Science Center, downtown Miami. I'm not sure if this is a museum or what, but it is a massive, massive building that says Frost Science. So potentially it is a museum, but I am not sure. Check out the moon in the backdrop of all these mega high-rise buildings here. Sam says, what's up, Tom? What's up, Sam? I'm doing very, very well. Says you changed your mind about tonight. So I was supposed to be doing a sunset stream, Sam, but I was stuck on Zoom conference calls till 8:30 at night. I just onboarded a new client, a new customer, and I was dealing with their IT department all the way up until 8:30 at night. But I was taking the call remotely, so I was actually taking it from a local coffee shop down here. But they kept me on the phone on and off for about an hour. So here are these electric scooters, the Lime scooters they have here. Hey, Deborah, how are you? What's up, Deborah? Says, why Miami? Miami has very, very attractive weather, a very good climate, and the tax reasons. The taxes in Southern Florida are let's just say way cheaper in terms of the percentage than they are in New York City. Beto and Garrison says, hi, next December I am going there. You're gonna love it. Miami is a great town. Downtown Miami, pretty much anywhere in Southern Florida is very, very nice. I'm not a big fan of South Beach, but that's just me. But this area is very, very beautiful. So thank you for joining. Hey, Rosie says, hola, buenos noches, Rosie. How are you? Rhino305 says, Tom, which of these buildings will you buy your first penthouse in? I don't know if I could ever buy a condo here at Rhino305, in all honesty, but if I had to choose one, it would be this Scorpion building right here. If I had to purchase one, it would be this one right here. This one looks insane. Vinny says, Tom, you're on the John Deere strike. Oh, your take on the John Deere strike. Well, I think you're going to see that in a lot of other businesses. I saw it in a Wall Street Journal article. I'm not too sure. I didn't read too much into it, but I will say this. Anytime, I think you're going to see a lot of pushback from workers in every single sector of the economy. They're going to be demanding higher wages. They're going to be demanding better benefits, higher pay in general, because especially now in the hospitality sector of the economy, they physically cannot hire people. So a lot of my friends who actually work at some of these hotels as like general managers, they're saying that they're letting the clients know that if you want your room cleaned, you actually have to request it specifically to be cleaned. So if you stay at a hotel, you're not going to get the housekeeping services every day unless you request it due to such short staff. Checker X says, hello, Tom. What's up, Checkers X? DJ says, that's great. Miami is so beautiful. Jason says, hey, what up, Tom? Any updates about stocks and market? Well, the S&P 500 closed solidly above its 50-day moving average. As we've been talking about it, I think the market overall was waiting to see how the financial earnings turned out. All the major investment banks reported earnings this week, and usually the health of the financials, so you could think about the big major banks, the investment banks, the trading houses, the health of those earnings really project on everything else. So we had a pretty good, strong close in the stock market today, and the bond market is not signaling anything we need to be aware of. John says, nice area. What's up, John? Sam says, all good, Tom. No worries. Keel says, loving your walks through Miami. Hello from Birmingham, Alabama. Wow. Birmingham's great. I've never been there, but I would like to travel to Alabama. Sally says, nothing much, Tom. I'm okay. Deborah S is why Miami. Mainly for the tax reasons. So in New York State, you have income tax in New York State, which can be as high as 14%. So I think the bottom tax bracket in New York State is right around 4%, but it can go all the way up to, I believe, around 12 or 14. So just by moving the business to Florida, we actually save about 7% a year. So we can use that money to reinvest into the business, hire new employees, or just invest the difference over time. Amir says, so going to Delaware soon. I think I've only been to Delaware once. What about you, Amir? 48 says, hi, Tom. Great to see you. Hope you are well. 48. I hope the same for you, my friend. Mark Davis is here. How are you, Mark Davis? Hey, David says, Frost Science is a leading science museum dedicated to sharing the power of science, sparking wonder and investigation, and fueling innovation. That sounds great. We're gonna have to check that out. Maybe we can go into the museum one day on the stream. Who knows? Marty Lewis is my nephew, and his family live in Birmingham, Alabama also. Disney cast member says, hello everyone. 43 degrees here in my part of Arizona. Looks warmer where you are. Disney cast member, I never really thought about Arizona getting that cold. Never really thought about it getting that cold. So hope you are well over there. Simone Williams says, hello from England, the United Kingdom. That's awesome. Freddie says, hello from Virginia. What's up, everybody from Virginia? Amazing Day says, do you plan to do a stream soon with your skateboard? Yes. So Amazing Day, we will have the skateboard back probably by next week. Well, I can probably guarantee by next week because I have to go back to New York City. So I'm actually going to be back in New York City next week for two reasons. First reason is for a bunch of business meetings. I have a ton of business meetings next week in New York City. And then I also have to ship via UPS or FedEx all of my other stuff back down to my place in Miami. So we're gonna be, my flight gets to New York, so I'm flying out of Miami to JFK Monday morning, and I will be flying back to Miami the following Monday after all my meetings. So I will have the skateboard in New York, and then I'm gonna bring the skateboard back with me in the mail to Miami. R.Y. Davis says, good evening from Clearwater, Florida. Welcome everybody from Clearwater, Florida. Mark Davis, I see you. Kiki says, good evening, Tom and Wall Street Skatebro and all. What's up, Kiki? Long time no see, and I hope you're doing well, and happy Friday. Disney cast member says, I'm at 5,000 elevation, pretty much comparable to Denver, Colorado. Ah, I see. So Disney cast member, one of my really good friends grew up near the Huachuca Mountains. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that, but the Huachuca Mountains. Is that anywhere near you? JM says, hey Tom, thanks for streaming downtown Miami. But will you stream other parts of Miami, such as Coral Gables, Key Biscayne, the Grove, the beaches, Port of Miami, Doral? Yes, we will. We definitely will. This week is my first week settling into the new place, so I couldn't really travel much, mainly because I was unpacking things, dealing with construction people coming to the house. So we will do streams on the skateboard all over Miami, in all the different areas, and hopefully one day get out to the Florida Keys. So that should be good. David says, hospitality and restaurant industries may have to pay a living wage to attract people. David, I think so. I think you're gonna see a lot of businesses enticing people with different sign-on bonuses in order to get people to come back to work. because there's a severe labor shortage here in the United States. So this is the FTX Arena as we always pass. Lee says add Coconut Grove to the list. We definitely will add Coconut Grove to the list, I promise. Mark Davis says, Tom, how are you settling into Miami? Slow but steady. I really do love it so far. The only thing is just I've been dealing with a lot of construction people in and out of the house, so it's just been a pretty hectic week, Mark. Hey, Zero Tolerance is home of the Miami Heat. Zero Tolerance, I hope you're well. Amazing Day says, what is FTX? FTX is really big in the cryptocurrency arena. Vinny Castellano says, when you're back in New York, can we go to Soho? Yeah, sure, we can go to Soho. Maybe we'll do that Monday night, Vinny. Junior says, what time is it? I'm actually not sure, Junior. I'm not sure, maybe around 10:30, but this is the Freedom Tower in downtown Miami right here, the Freedom Tower. And Vinny Castellano, we will definitely go back to Soho, potentially either Monday night or Tuesday night. Larry says the Great Resignation is in the United States, says Larry. Traveling Tips says, what other earnings announcements are you looking forward to? So the Traveling Tips is a good question. So first off, all of the major financials reported their earnings, and they all came out very, very good and positive. And usually at the start of earnings season, everybody pays very close attention to the financials because the financials can really tell you the overall quote-unquote health of the American consumer. So for example, JP Morgan's earnings said they had better than expected credit card spending. Bank of America's earnings said the same thing, and their loan issuing department was better than expected as well. So whenever we have tech earnings roll around, for example, Apple or Microsoft or even Walmart or Target or really anything that's directed at consumers, if we can expect that consumers are borrowing and they're spending money on their credit cards, those earnings will probably in relation be good as well. So that's why I think we saw a big rally week on Wall Street with the S&P 500 closing back above that key 50-day moving average. But definitely the one that's going to interest me the most this month is Apple. I'm very, very interested in Apple's earnings later this month. George Malo says, please go to Hard Rock at Bayside, says George. We definitely will. RL says Netflix's earnings are reporting on Tuesday. That is definitely something to look out for. Yeah, so in relation to Netflix, right? It's consumers, buy subscriptions in Netflix, and mainly, you either put that on auto pay on some type of debit card or credit card. So the health of the consumer is very important in terms of earnings for other companies. Happen to New York City now, they have palm trees. Damn, yes. We're in downtown Lower Manhattan. Just kidding. We are in Miami. We just want to make sure I don't miss any of the comments. Hey, Cosmo Scary, I see you here. What's up, Cosmo? RL says Goldman Sachs. Wow. Yeah, Goldman Sachs reported thunderous earnings. I think the strongest part of all the investment bank earnings that I've seen is in their investment banking department or their M&A. So the mergers and acquisitions, their credit underwriting, as well as equity underwriting divisions and wealth management. And that's all of the fee income that they get. So it was very, very strong across the board. And I think it was mainly fueled by a stronger than normal IPO market. So IPO stands for initial public offering. And many companies over the course of the pandemic have been brought public. And in order for a company to go public, the underwriting needs to be done by one of the main or boutique investment banks. So you could think about a JP Morgan Chase or a Goldman Sachs, something like that. RL says BlackRock also did great. I believe BlackRock reported on Monday. Is that correct? Cosmo Scary says, what's up, my buddy Tom? Hope your portfolio is slaying it. Thank you, Cosmo. I hope the same for you. I hope the same for you. Mary J says 9:50 p.m. Eastern Central Minnesota. What's up, Mary J? Hope you're well. Lee says, amazing day. FXT is a cryptocurrency exchange platform that allows users to trade cryptocurrencies. The Aviator says it's currently 10:48 Eastern Standard Time in Miami. Kiki says, I worked the restaurant industry for 21 and a half years. Wow. Until the lockout. I will never let an employer treat me like half a human being ever again. So could you provide some more clarity on that, Kiki, if you'd like? I'd be interested to hear more about that. Hey, Fernando's here. What's up, Fernando? How are you? Larry says, Tom, you're very well versed in corporate finance. Larry, what's up? Rhino 305, and thank you for that. Rhino 305 says, Tom, if no one is working, how long will strong consumer spending last? Seems such shaky times ahead. Well, I think here's where the disparity comes in my opinion, Rhino 305, is if we actually drill down in the data, what we'll find is that the majority of the open positions are in lower paying industries. So for example, hospitality, the restaurant industries, warehousing. So these employees tend to make minimum wage or a little bit above. So now you're seeing, sign-on bonuses of maybe $1,000 to $2,000 and a sign-on bonus or something like that. So I think where the big labor shortage is mainly in restaurant, hospitality, things like that. So could that change? Yes, it could, because I do know some tech companies that are definitely looking for people, but by and large, the companies that are hiring are mainly in hospitality. So that's where I think that disparity may sort of throw some people off. Deborah says, Taurus coming back in a few weeks. Yes, I believe, yes, so Deborah, I was reading something in the Wall Street Journal that they said on November 8th, I believe anybody who is fully vaccinated may re-enter the United States. Is that correct? Did I get that right? Hey, Frederick White, this is my first time watching. How are you, Frederick? Happy to have you here. Dogman says there has been a labor shortage in those industries for a decade. It's definitely gotten worse though. Yeah, I mean, Dogman, if you think about it, if you were working in a warehouse making $15 an hour or $16 an hour, and then the coronavirus hits, and then you're getting all this unemployment, some people were actually making more money to stay home. So, I mean, why not stay home and collect unemployment as opposed to go back and working a ridiculous, strenuous job for only $15 an hour? So what I think is going to happen is exactly what some of the people in the comments have been saying. Workers have the upper hand, and they're going to demand either, number one, better working conditions, or number two, much higher pay. Orland Edwards, what's up, Orland? How are you? Kiki's is in the right to wish states like Texas that has minimum wage at $2.13 per hour. That's insane. Dogman says working would be a poor financial decision at that point. Yeah, I think it's the calculation of diminishing returns, I guess, right? Joe Hernandez says, hi, Tom. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are indeed well too, Joe. Always good to see you on here, Joe Hernandez. M. Wall, how are you? Mark Davis says, Tom, Canadians can cross the border now by land to the United States next month. It has been announced. I did not know that. That is great. I think all international travel is allowed to the United States if you are vaccinated. That's what I believe. I think I read that today in the Wall Street Journal, if I'm not mistaken. Orland Edwards says, I'm doing fine. Thanks, Tom. Just joined the live stream. Interesting convo. Thank you, Orland. Hopefully you had a good week at school. Orland is actually a school teacher, so big respect to Orland for that. Cosmo Scary says, yay, Canadians, indeed. Starvin' Artist says, hello, Tom. Happy Friday. What's up, Starvin' Artist? Jonathan says, hi, Tom. Hope you've had a great first week in Miami. We have. We definitely have. I'm enjoying it very, very much. And the weather's great. The weather has been great here. Ren, how are you? What's up, Ren? Rhino 305 says, November 8th is correct. But don't say the V word. Indeed, we will get demonetized again. We will for sure get demonetized again. The Aviator says, when are you getting your board back? So I'm flying to New York City, the Aviator, on Monday morning. I will be streaming from New York if I have the time, because I do have a pretty action-packed week with clients and such. I will be on the board in New York City, and then I'm going to ship my skateboard here to Miami. The Aviator says, I'm not sure if that rule only applies for adults or children, minors as well, but children under 12 can't be vaccinated, so can they fly to the United States? That is a very good question. Sonia Foster says, I am a recruiter for hospitality jobs, and I believe the shortage is also a mixture of low wages and job seekers accepting positions, then not showing up to work. Sonia, very good insight. So thank you for that. That's one of the reasons why I love this stream. We have so many people from all over the world in different industries willing to share their experiences. So Sonia, thank you for that piece of information. So you're saying these people are accepting the jobs and just not showing up to work? That's insane. Hey, Amir Khan is here. Says, beautiful view again. What's up, Amir? Mark Davis says, Canadian invasion to the United States soon. I hope so. Ren says, hello, Sir Tom. What's up, Ren? Melina Alvarez says, are you going to miss the fall/winter season in New York City since Miami really doesn't have seasons? To be honest, I think so, yes. However, my family is all from New York City, so I will be back and forth. So for example, next week I'll be back in New York City, so I'll be able to walk around Central Park, assuming I have time from all of my meetings, and I could sort of hang out and experience the seasons. But it's a good question. That's something I thought about for sure. Disney cast member says, 2 of my sons have been applying for everything and anything and never get a single call. Disney cast member, extremely interesting insight. Would you mind sharing like what industry they're applying into? Sabrina Fair says, hi Tom, nice to see you. I dig those colors. Wow, what's up, Sabrina? It's good to see everybody here. Happy Friday. I'm definitely happy it's the weekend. I'm usually not one of those people that I say, hey, happy for the weekend, but I'm not gonna lie, I am. It's been a very, very hectic one for sure, especially, you know, moving and working while moving and unpacking boxes while on Zoom calls and pretending not to be unpacking boxes while on Zoom calls. George says, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. What's up, George? RL says, is this where the cruise terminal is? So I believe this is Bayside. Right here, Bayside. I'm not sure if this is where all the cruises are. However, down here, we always check out the docks. I'm not sure what it's actually called, but there's always tons of boats and yachts that are docked right over here. So we'll take a little walk around. I was actually gonna stream the sunset. Again, it's Sunny Isles, but I just got way too backed up and busy. So we'll take one more look at the Freedom Tower and then we will head out. Bobby Yaga 108 says, good to see you, Tom. Thanks again, love the commentary. Bobby Yaga, hope you have a great weekend. Make it a good one. Ren says, Tom, since I'm loyal to you, can you root for the Boston Red Sox to win? Who are they playing? Who are the Red Sox playing? I don't even know. But yes, I will. Philippine Walk with RR says, hi Tom, greetings from the Philippines. Hey, welcome everybody from the Philippines. Rhino 305 says, cruise terminal is behind Bayside over the bridge. Is that walkable, Rhino? Could we walk over that bridge or no? Lee says, cruises are to the north at the port of Miami. So do they mainly go to the Bahamas, I'm assuming? Ren says, Houston. Sonia Foster says, yes, it does happen, and it is unfortunate, especially in states with large hospitality and tourism. So what Sonia is saying is that some of these people are actually getting placed in jobs, but then they're never even showing up to the first day, which is very concerning. Sunshine After Rain says, beautiful view. David says, I've got a room full of Amazon boxes. My cat is not complaining. Oh, I'm sure the cat is just loving that, David. Girl Loves Hemp says, hi Tom and everybody, glad I caught you live. Good to have you here. Always awesome to have you here. Philippines says, it's always beautiful. Night in New York. We are in Miami tonight, the Philippines. Amir says, that must have been a New Yorker, probably. Definitely probably a New Yorker. Chill Beats to Chill says hi from Argentina. Thomas says hi, Tom. Hi, sunshine after rain. Melee, hope you're good. Lee says the Caribbean, you have access to the port via Biscayne Boulevard. Interesting. So Disney cast member says your son has pretty much been applying everywhere. Interesting. Jonathan Richards says, I'm the operations manager in a large insurance agency here in North Carolina, and we just gave all of our staff a 25% increase in their annual salaries. Hopefully no one will jump ship. We value our employees. So Jonathan, that's very interesting that you bring that up, because, so I'm assuming it's something sort of like an employee retention benefit, or like an employee retention bonus. I know some of my friends, two of my friends that work at a big investment bank on Wall Street, they actually got a guaranteed increase in their annualized bonuses, significant amounts of money, just so they don't either leave to a competing firm or leave the industry in general. So if now is the time to negotiate your salary, and maybe now is the time to find another job. So let's say if you're in an industry where you really don't like the job, you know, if you apply somewhere else, I think you could probably automatically get a 30 to 50% raise right off the bat, just from either leaving the company and applying somewhere else, or simply asking for a raise. So all good stuff there for sure. Alejandro says hello from Cuba. Welcome everybody from Cuba. That's awesome. People are watching from Cuba. Melee says, I'm good, enjoying the stream. What's up, Melee? Great Walk says, hi guys, how's it going? What's up, Great Walk? Always good to see you. RL says, have you found a good restaurant to take Miami clients to? Not yet, in all honesty, because I just haven't had that much time to actually explore around. But I'm assuming there's probably some really nice places in Bal Harbor. I've been getting a lot of advice to check out some restaurants in Bal Harbor. So we'll have to check that out. But good question, RL. Sam, I see you. Thomas says, hey DJ, thanks. Everything's good here. Alejandro says, I love Miami. What's up, Alejandro? Juan says, 1971 actually. Juan says, hello Tom, thank you for an awesome stream. My family was at the Freedom Tower in 1971. Wow, dude, that's awesome. So Juan, is that true? The Freedom Tower is mainly where the Cuban immigrants came to the United States and essentially checked in. Somebody was explaining to it, I think on the stream 2 days ago or 3 days ago, sort of explaining what the significance of the Freedom Tower was. So it's sort of like Miami's Ellis Island, I guess you could say. Is that correct? Check out this tree. This thing is amazing. So they have one of these Bubba Gump shrimp places here. Linda Amio says, hi Tom, just found you. I'm a Bronx Throgs Neck lady. Real estate is booming in the Bronx, building everywhere. Hey, we love the Bronx. So I used to work right there on the Grand Concourse for a long time. I used to consult with the home healthcare agency right there on the concourse near Bronx Science and Lehman College. So right around that area. I did that for about 2 years. And there was some extremely good Mexican food in the Bronx. So I love the Bronx. So welcome. Hope you're well. I am originally from New York, but we are down in Miami now. Lena Sandoval, how are you? Fernando, always good to see you. Super friends in the city, Fernando. Melee. Go to Houston's Hillstone in Bal Harbor. Also Coral Gables. I will definitely have to do that. Girl Loves Hemp says, beautiful tree. Warren Drew says, I've been watching GLOB stock, also 21%. RL says, Tesla earnings on Wednesday, AXP on Friday. So Tesla reported really good numbers in their car deliverables this week. Very good. Cosmo Scary says Lower East Side, lots of people out. Cosmo, I used to skateboard in that neighborhood every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night when I was in college. There was so many students from NYU, New York University. That place is crazy. St. Mark's Place, really, really wild there, Cosmo. Gerald Lee says, hey Tom, hope you're doing well. Gerald, always good to have you here, and I hope you are doing fine as always. Great Walk says, that's a cool place to chill. The Aviator, how are you? Tom, do you know that Tesla got ordered to pay $137 million to a former employee because of racism? I did not know that. I did not know that. When was this? Was this recently, The Aviator? Hey, Rain says, hello from Poland. Wow, welcome to all of our viewers from Poland. I love Poland. Hope you're having a great one from Poland. Warren Drew says, looks a little Vega-esque, like Las Vegas. The Aviator says, just last week. I did not know that. RL says, going to be cooler in Florida on Sunday. Hey, Alexandria, how are you? Lena Sandoval. R.Y. Davis has enjoyed safe travels back to New York City. Thank you. So everybody, I wanted to bring something to your attention. What I'm noticing in the market right now, and we talked about it on the Behind the Street newsletter very recently. Actually, I believe I wrote about it last Sunday. I believe that the cryptocurrency markets, such as Bitcoin and the like, are signaling higher than average or higher than expected inflation. So I believe that we are going to get a thunderous second wave of inflation that is going to hit in the next couple months, probably starting at the end of October. And I think you're going to see crude oil go higher than it already is. I believe we closed at about $83 a barrel for crude, and I think you're going to see this thing absolutely rip face and go to the moon. And I think you're seeing that in the cryptocurrency markets. We had an all-time record high weekly close in the price of Bitcoin. So I believe traders are now using Bitcoin as an inflation hedge. Previously, to be used as an inflation hedge would be precious metals such as gold and silver. But the fund flows have actually been going into cryptocurrency markets and not into precious metals markets, which has been extremely, extremely interesting. So the correlation between crude oil and Bitcoin has been extremely noticeable. And I expect Bitcoin to continue to new all-time record highs, just as we wrote about in the newsletter last week. Hey, George says, Hard Rock to the right, please. Yes, so I believe this is the Hard Rock Cafe right here. DJ says, wow, so beautiful there. Gerald Lee says, Walmart doesn't pay very much to begin with. They want to be paid more. John Deere and Kellogg's are on strike for that reason. Yeah, Gerald, you're 100% right. I think you're going to see a lot more employees rise up and either demand better working conditions or increased pay. So I think you're 100% right. DN says, do you invest in gold and silver? I have a little bit of physical silver. I have a little bit of physical silver in a safety deposit box, DN. RL says VITO ETF early next week. I believe that is the new cryptocurrency or Bitcoin ETF that was just approved, I believe. Hey, Zuma's here. What's up, Zuma? Says, hey, my first time seeing a Miami stream. What's up, Zuma? Thank you for being here. RL says ticker symbol BITO. So is that the new Bitcoin ETF that I believe was approved? Is that correct, RL? Santo A says new Bitcoin ETF starts on Monday. Indeed it does. Santo A, how are you? MTR says, please take me on the Ferris wheel. What's up, MTR? Warren Drew, how are you? Jonathan says, yes, retention was our incentive for the 25% salary increases for all staff. Employees loved it. No one is leaving. That's fantastic. So Jonathan, a lot of the times when I do consulting, I do a little bit of management consulting as well, as opposed to tech consulting. The number one expense every time that I speak to an HR manager at a company, their number one expense is actually hiring employees. So my whole positioning to these people is, you might as well pay a little bit more to retain the employees you have, because in order to hire a new employee, that's going to cost you even more in terms of training and certifying new employees. It costs the average company something like $10,000 just to onboard one employee. So I'm glad it worked for you in terms of employee retention, for sure. I don't think we've ever walked down here, so we'll walk down here. MTR says Dallas. RL says yes, that's what happened when Coinbase IPO'd. Zuma says, wow, sounds like a hopping area around here. I think this is called Bayside, I believe, Zuma. Hey, Out and About. What's up, Out and About? Warren Drew says Bitcoin hot over 60K. Yeah, so that would be a blue sky breakout. But I believe the weekly candle for Bitcoin actually closed about 2 hours ago. So this is the highest weekly close on record. Santo A says, do you think we're done with the selling in the market, or do you see downside? So Santo, if you want to check out, if you click on my page and you go to the community page, you'll be able to see all of my newsletters that I write. And we talked about this in last week's Behind the Street newsletter. And I said, we're probably going to need to see how financial earnings turn around in order to see if this correction is over. So all the major investment banks reported earnings, better than expected earnings, I should say, with better than expected investment banking fees, M&A fees, and equity underwriting fees. So I believe the market was waiting to see the health of the financial sector's earnings. And today we closed well above the 50-day moving average in the S&P 500. So I'm actually expecting new all-time record highs for the S&P 500 before the end of the year. That's what I'm expecting. I could be wrong, but that is what I'm expecting based upon the strength of the earnings reports we had this week with JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, with absolutely face-ripping earnings. Disney cast member says online sales are way down as well. I haven't sold a single thing in a week. Getting scary. Oh, you're talking about the Etsy store. So feel free to post your link in the description, Disney cast member. Hey, Roy, how are you? What's up, Roy? The Aviator, yeah, I didn't know that, Aviator. So Tesla supposedly, so the Aviator, could you post a link to that for everybody to see? Because I have never heard of that. So Tesla was ordered to pay a $137 million fine due to racism within the organization. I have not heard of that, but please definitely post the link in the description because I would like to take a look at that as well. I have never heard of that. I'm surprised why it wasn't in the Wall Street Journal. Chill Beats to Chill says, hey Tom, just an English question. How do you say in English when you put money in a bank and after a month, for example, you get the money back plus a revenue? Are you talking about interest? So let's say if but banks' interests are extremely low, but I think you're talking about interest. Is that correct? Roy says, hi Tom, listening, learning, and enjoying the Miami views. What's up, Roy? Happy Friday and happy weekend. All right, let me try to catch up on the comments because I think they were going a little bit too fast. Vinny Castellano says, do you think by 2030 all paper cash will be taken over by Bitcoin? I don't think all paper cash will be taken over by Bitcoin. I think all paper cash will be taken over by a world reserve currency, digital dollar. And I think that's going to be issued from the Federal Reserve, in my opinion. Zuma says, Miami Heat lost the basketball game tonight versus Boston. That's why I saw someone with Celtics jersey on. Ah, Zuma, copy that. PDZ says, do you like partying? Not particularly, not particularly. Starvin' Artist says, looks warm there, only 32 degrees Fahrenheit where I'm from. Well, stay warm, Starvin' Artist. Jason Gates says, Tom, how you doing? I'm doing extremely well. I hope the same for you. Warren Drew says, Ford was paying $100,000 just to retire and then they call you back. PDZ says, when do you go to sleep, bro? We usually probably go to sleep around 1 o'clock in the morning. Vinny, how are you? MTR says, how much is gas there? I saw it for $3.10. How much is it in New York? I forget. I don't drive, so I'm not really too sure. Jonathan Richards says, I agree, Tom. Retaining good employees with more money is by far less expensive than bringing on new employees. It's a win-win for all. Oh, for sure. So especially when I was doing a lot of consulting at home healthcare agencies, one of the main issues that they were having is extreme turnover in their businesses. So home healthcare is actually the fastest growing profession in the United States, and a lot of people don't know that. So a home health aide is the fastest growing job in the United States. However, a major problem at these home healthcare agencies is employee turnover and employee retention. And one of the main reasons why we saw that is because the majority of people that are home health aides, especially in New York City, in boroughs such as the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens, these tend to be older individuals that are not as tech savvy as younger people. And right now, Governor Cuomo about last year put in place the Evv Mandate, which is an electronic visit verification mandate that requires all home health aides to physically punch in and out on a mobile device as opposed to physical timesheets, so they not only remain HIPAA compliant, but for regulatory oversight to make sure the aides were at the locations. So what was happening is these aides didn't know how to punch in and out on their mobile devices, so they were doing all of this work, but when it came time for payday, they were not getting paid. So that was causing extreme attrition in the business. So what we did is we went in there, we did a whole case study, we did some modeling, and actually the program that we recommended is we recommended that these agencies actually invest in providing their home health aides with reliable cell phones that they can use for both personal and business use, to not only act as an employee benefit because they can use these devices for unlimited talk, text, and data, but we will also lock the device down with what's called an MDM, or a mobile device manager, and automatically push the electronic visit verification applications to the device, as well as link it with their EMR software, whatever they use, their electronic medical record software. And ever since we put in place those programs, we saw a 60% increase in employee retention. So it was very, very successful. The Aviator says, I asked why just $25. They said someone else thought the idea too and never opened 4 years before me. Interesting. Santo A says, Miami looks like the next Silicon Valley. So I think Silicon Valley will always be the #1 tech hub. If anybody's going to take over Silicon Valley, I believe it will be New York City. And then probably second place will be San Antonio, Texas, I believe, or something like that, or Austin, Texas. Hey, the Mighty Bull says, greetings to all moderators and friends. The Mighty Bull, I hope you're well. Happy Friday, Mighty Bull. Are you doing anything interesting for the weekend? Loose72 says, hello, Wall Street Skate Bro. What is up, Loose72? Always a pleasure to see you here. Joe Hernandez says, Tom, that is an excellent program that your company had. Yeah, I think it was good, and we provided training to the home health aides as well. So it was very, very good in my opinion. So I believe this is near the Ferris wheel here. Ren1018 says young people out of college love to live in New York. Absolutely love to live in New York. So I was reading a very, very interesting article today in the Wall Street Journal that says there's actually bidding wars now on apartments for rentals in New York City. So it looks like all of the New York City bargain basement deals are now gone. Brandy says, hey Tom, hope you are well. Just joining after seeing a new Michael Myers movie, Halloween Kills. Brandy, hope you are doing good and happy Friday. Great Walk says everybody loves New York. I agree. So I think if anybody's ever going to take over Silicon Valley, it's definitely going to be New York City, in my opinion, if anybody is going to. Out and About, what's up Out and About? This is what area are you in? We are in Bayside. Bayside we are in. We'll go over here to escape some of the music, and we'll get to see the views of Bayside from afar. But this is the main Ferris wheel here. Zuma says, haha, not everyone loves New York, that's for sure. I sure do. I love New York. Lou72, same with a lot of housing, big time bidding going on, says Lou72. It's crazy how human psychology works, right? So when everything is bargain basement prices, nobody wants any of the goods or services. But when everybody wants it and everybody wants an apartment in New York City, people are willing to pay 10, 20, 30 times the price. It's very, very bizarre and strange how the human brain works. But humans are, how should I say it? Humans are not the best decision makers because we are very community driven. We are very community driven people. The Aviator says, Tom, I have a question. So you know, everyone on the internet, everyone says, oh, LA is such a beautiful city, but it's just full of homeless. Can you give me an honest opinion on that? The Aviator, I can't give you an honest opinion on that because I've never been to LA. Would I like to go to LA? I would. But I believe that every single city in America is going to have their own issues in terms of homelessness. I mean, where I'm from, New York, we definitely have our issue with homelessness. But I don't think nearly as bad as LA. But then again, I can't speak for LA because I've never been there. But from what I've heard that the homelessness situation in LA is worse than New York. Yeah, Out and About says people contend you conform too much. Charlie Richardson says, I always look forward to your streams. Hope you're well, Charlie. Wow, check out this yacht, everybody. This thing is insane. Wow. Warren Drew says Silicon Valley is big. I am from there for 30 years. Very smart folks there. Yeah, Silicon Valley, I don't think anything is ever going to... It's going to be very, very difficult to replace Silicon Valley in terms of a technology hub, I think. But if anybody would do it, I think it's New York City. The Mighty Bull, I see you here. Roy says humans are irrational. Charlie Richardson says, what makes you think New York could take over Silicon Valley? You have to look at the hiring market, right? So anytime you think about companies, why a company would want to move to a location, a lot of people think, oh, it's the taxes, but it's actually not. It's not the taxes at all. It's the amount of what they call brains. So California has some of the nation's best colleges and universities. New York has some of the best colleges and universities. You have Columbia University, New York University, Cornell, Syracuse University, all within a driving mile radius from the city. So it just depends about the talent that you can attract. And New York will always be able to attract talent because of the amazing educational institutions we have. And that's something Florida has been lacking, is a job market. But I think it's getting better, and I'm very optimistic about it. RL says, not seeing many rats in Miami. I'm not either. MTR says, watch out for Godzilla. We will. Jason Gates says, yesterday us Clevelanders got our last 80-degree day. Starvin Artist is out and about. We'll have to check out your Toronto stream sometime. Have heard about it from Tom. Yeah, please check out our pal Out and About. Let me see. I just don't want to miss any of the comments. San Diego is so bland but beautiful, says Ren 1018. Warren Drew says Silicon Valley has AMD, Intel, Apple, IBM. Now chips are in high demand. So Warren Drew, one interesting thing that I could say about the chip sector is the news just broke that Taiwan Semiconductor, which is essentially the lifeblood for all new modern innovation in the world, they just announced they're building a brand new plant, a brand new manufacturing facility in Japan. So Taiwan Semiconductor manufactures semiconductors, or chips as they're called in the industry, and chips go into anything from vehicles, electric vehicles, appliances, cellular devices. So if you think about, or you want to talk about iPhones, Android phones, Google phones, pretty much any type of electronic device, it needs semiconductors to make. And as of right now, there is a global ongoing semiconductor shortage, in which case Taiwan Semiconductor manufactures, I believe, over 50% of all the semiconductors that are needed in the world today. So they just announced they're opening a new manufacturing facility in Japan, and I think it's actually a strategic diversification move because Taiwan is at its highest risk in ever in relation to China. However, I don't think anything negative will happen in terms of China invading Taiwan. I really don't. But that is just my take. Alejandro says, such a beautiful night. What's up, Alejandro? Good to see you. RL says, bet the CCP is not happy about that. I bet the same, RL. I do not think they are happy about that at all. MTR says, hubba hubba. Jason Gates says, I'm in Euclid. Sabrina says, I'm from San Diego, and I agree with that statement, but it was an awesome place to grow up. So I think we're gonna head back to the docks because I want to check out some of those boats. Hey, Jay is here, says great view. What's up, Jay? Alejandro, good to see you. Jason Gates, good to see you. Zuma says, was almost 80 here in northern New England today. That's great. Yeah, we usually tend to have some, 1 or 2 spotty days of very beautiful weather. MTR says, why didn't you buy an apartment there? I would never buy a condo or an apartment in Miami. I just don't want to pay what's called the HOA fees. I think it's a big, big nightmare, HOA. Hey, DJ, how are you? Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody's comment. Jason Gates says, Macedonia, I remember Macedonia. Warren Drew says, shorting VIX makes bucks. Yeah, Warren Drew, the VIX has now collapsed to about 18. I believe we closed the week at 15 or 16. Is that correct, Warren Drew? So those are the main things. Usually when the VIX is high, it's actually advantageous to short vol, as they call it. Short vol. Jonathan Richards says, Tom, our 25% salary increase for employees was sort of like a retention bonus. We're still doing annual evaluations with salary increases apart from 25% salary increase. I think that's great. I think that's phenomenal. Great Walk says, Tom, do you know any companies that hire foreign people to work remotely? Here in Argentina, I work in finance, but it'd be great to make some extra money. That I don't know. I do know a lot of technology companies, especially in the cybersecurity space, that are hiring, but not in finance, only like cybersecurity firms. Out and About says, just buy land and build a house to your liking. Very interesting. Linda says, yes, HOA goes up and you have no say in the matter. Yeah, Linda, so in my opinion, and it's very controversial, right? And it's not a right answer and it's not a wrong answer. But for me, I would never, ever, 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 ever buy something with an HOA fee. That's just me, because you deal with a lot of freaks. Excuse my language, but you know, if you're gonna buy something that you own, I don't want anybody having a say in whether I can, you know, trim the lawn a certain way or something crazy like that. So I'd rather not pay the HOA. I'd rather not deal with all the crazies that are like the head of the HOA board and things like that. Yeah, M-Wall, there's also special assessment too. So let's see if we can make our way through here real quick. Linda says, I agree 100%. George says, good evening, Tom and everybody. What's up, George? Jason Gates, I agree. Says, I agree. I want to do with my property. That's why I will not buy. I don't know if we can go upstairs. Hey, Mark Davis says, Tom, how is your golf game going? Have you hit the course yet? Not yet, but I'm excited to. Hopefully next week, I'll be able to play some golf out on Long Island at Bethpage. If anybody's familiar with Bethpage on Long Island, hopefully I can get out and play something at Bethpage. Faith says, hello, Tom, what did I miss? I was in a boring date and sneaked out to watch your stream. Oh my God, Faith, God bless you. Hope it went well. Sounds like it did, I guess. But we were just recapping this week on Wall Street. The S&P 500 closed solidly above its 50-day moving average, and it looks like the market has found confidence due to the strength in the financial earnings of the major investment banks. They reported better than expected earnings, especially in their investment banking divisions, their M&A, which stands for mergers and acquisitions, as well as their equity underwriting division and management fees. Santo A says, this place looks like the seaport near downtown in Manhattan. It does sort of resemble it a little bit. I would agree with that. I want to try to walk back to where all of the boats and the yachts were. It was insane. Richard Etz says, looks like an entertaining, lovely, and gorgeous night in Miami. Thank you, Richard. Jason Gates says, I can't stop laughing. Linda says, friends I know looking at houses in Larchmont, New York, taxes are high. Where is that? Is that on Long Island or is that in upstate New York? I've never heard of that. Mark Davis's Bethpage yesterday at the US Open there. Yeah, so Mark, Bethpage is actually very close to the house where I grew up. Lisa says, everybody please hit the like button. Thank you everybody. If you're interested in this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want. Oh, Linda, it's in Westchester. Yeah, so usually Westchester has some pretty insane taxes for sure. The Mighty Bull says watching and listening. Sabrina says, what a night. I can't get over how pretty it looks there, Tom. Thank you, Sabrina. MTR says, ever heard of Winged Foot Golf Club in Westchester? Real exclusive. I have never. I definitely have never heard of that, but I'm going to check it out. I'm going to ask around. Oil Wealth says, rent up in New York. Is it because of demand or property tax hikes? I'm not sure property tax hikes would have implications on that, but I just think it's demand from people moving back to New York City after the coronavirus pandemic. And human nature is to buy high and sell low when you're really supposed to buy low, sell high. But that's human nature. Humans are attracted to the next biggest shiny object. So it's very hard to fight those emotions. But some people are in bidding wars over renting an apartment, which is really, really crazy. So I can't believe some people in New York City right now are in bidding wars over renting apartments. I really, really can't believe that. Linda says, yes, Marimonk Wingfoot Golf Club. Marineck Wingfoot Golf Club. Jason Gates says, that island queen ship there, it's like the Nautica Queen in Cleveland. Disney cast member says, my family is in East Setauket. Outrageous prices there. I could imagine Disney. And I said, I just moved in 2 seconds ago. I'm like, no, I apologize. But somebody came in right behind me, knocked on the door, and asked if I could rent them the entire house. I said no. Maybe next year, but not now. MTR says, I like the Upper East Side of Manhattan. I do too. Oil Well says, wow, what did they offer? We didn't talk about price. I was actually a little bit nasty to them. I probably shouldn't have been, but I was exhausted, and these people came right behind me and knocked on the door. They're like, hey, I saw a for sale sign on the lawn not too long ago. Are you the new owner? And I said, yeah. And they said, hey, are you willing to rent this? I'm looking for a place to buy, but need a house to rent in the meantime. And I just said, no, pal. I'm like, I just moved in. I said, I just moved in. But what I want to do is I want to either rent out the individual rooms in the house to college kids. And if I do that, this place is going to cash flow like no tomorrow. It's going to be sick. Or I could just rent out one side of the house and then just live in the other. Lou72 says, I get cards and calls all the time wanting to buy one of the houses. Insane stuff. Wow. Lou72, where are you located? Out and About says, be careful. Don't open the door to just anybody. That is true. Thank you for that, Out and About. Santo A says, I can see the skyline getting even bigger in the next couple of years in Miami. So Santo A, there's supposed to be the Waldorf Astoria Tower, residences and apartment complexes here in Miami. And it's supposed to be the largest condominium south of New York City. And I believe it's supposed to be finished in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, the view here is amazing. It's just so peaceful. Disney cast member says, bidding wars in Phoenix, yet I can't give my house away up in the mountains. Yikes. Disney cast member, have you ever put it on the market? Maybe somebody will, take a bite. Tobe the Cat says, yeah, some guy just tried to buy a house in New York City. The broker increased the price by $300,000 and it sold last week. Wow. That's insane. Tobe the Cat, how are you? MTR says, born in Brooklyn, now in Dallas, better quality of life. Yeah, a lot of people are, moving away from the Northeast, but I think there's going to be a new, more younger vibe, more younger group that are moving into these cities like New York, in my opinion. Lou72 says, Western South Dakota have place on coast of Mississippi, Omaha, Nebraska, and Boulder, Colorado. Lindus is my neighbor, bought property. Warren Drew says my broker increased my condo $10,000 over asking, sold in one day. Wow. Congratulations. Warren Drew, where are you moving after you sold your place? Congratulations on that. That's awesome. Hey, Faith says I have a cybersecurity question. Who do you think is at war with the United States concerning cybersecurity attacks? What's your opinion? So my opinion in terms of cybersecurity attacks on the United States, I don't think it's national governments. I think they're isolated cybercrime punks in Russia, in China, and in the Ukraine. I don't think they're government-sponsored actors, in my opinion. I could be wrong. However, I think they are anonymous cyber criminal groups out of Russia, out of the Ukraine, and out of China. That is what I believe. And that's why we've been talking a lot about this on the channel, that if you're looking for a very lucrative and high-paying career, and you're a very personable person, I would definitely apply to all the major cybersecurity firms as an account executive. So if you think about CrowdStrike, Okta, Zscaler, Ping Identity, Palo Alto Networks, Rapid7, any of those sort of companies, I think you're going to be doing very, very well. Hey, AMB is here. What's up, AMB? DJ MTG Mike the Greek says, greetings, Tom. What's up? We are in Miami. Linda says, my neighbor bought a property in Brookfield, Connecticut, but lumber is too high and scarce right now. He has to wait. Brad says, do you miss New York City yet? I don't miss New York City at all, mainly because I'm going to be there so often. I'm going to be there on Monday, so I don't miss it because I'm going to be there on Monday. But Brad Warshaw, hope you're good. Lou72 says, it did snow Mark Davis. Got 14 inches, 2 feet more up north. Wow. Hey, Zap Allen is here. Says, hey, Tom. What's up, Zap Allen? See, so Zap Allen is a viewer who actually was listening to the streams and asked their employer for a raise. And I believe Zap Allen is now getting paid 50% more than what she usually gets paid. So that's phenomenal. As I've been saying, it is definitely, the power is in the hands of the employees. So definitely ask your boss for a raise and you will get it. Diana Lee says, hi, Tom. What's up, Diana Lee? JL says, JetBlue is a great ride from New York City to Miami. Yeah, I paid $52 for my plane ticket. That's one of the reasons why I moved to Southern Florida as opposed to any other place that's a good tax haven. Because the flights are so cheap. I could go back and forth every day of the week and still probably save money. So it's fantastic. DJ says, new Italian airliner launched yesterday in Italy. A new Italian airliner. What is that? Are you talking about a new... Ren says, I'm surprised Miami has such tall skyscrapers considering it's a hurricane zone. I'm actually really surprised about that too, Ren. Extremely, extremely surprised. But it seems like they just keep developing and developing and developing every single year in Miami. The skyline is growing profusely here. And the city is literally built on sea level. So it's really, really crazy. David says, the San Francisco federal court decided that Tesla must pay a former worker, Owens Diaz, around $137 million after he endured racist abuse. Oh my God, that's insane. That's insanity. Fat Sergeant 8595 says, how has the crime been since you've been in Miami? How has the crime been? I haven't experienced any crime, thank God. I haven't experienced any crime, thank God. I mean, you know, hopefully, knock on wood, no crime. Kiki says a lot of housing properties in this country are being hoarded by huge money market players. A lot of foreign investment. The real estate market in this country is in a little trouble. Yeah, so Kiki, there is some truth to that, but there's also, the data is very skewed on that. So I think what you're referring to is, you know, there's people like private equity, like BlackRock and such, that are actually buying single family houses as investment properties to rent out. However, the share of investment and the share of home purchases actually by these venture capitalists and Zillow and all these other publicly traded companies is so small that it's not really affecting the market that much. I think it's just really good for mainstream media to have a talking point to throw stones at somebody and get the public all riled up. But if we look at the data, it's actually not moving markets as much as people would think, in my opinion anyway. But that is true, they are doing that. Hey, we have our pal Kevin is here. It says mode of transportation in Miami is still skateboarding, absolutely. So we will have the skateboarding back next week. DJ says it looks stunning at my big window, stunning Tom. Hey, DJ is here. What's up, DJ? And Charlie. Great Walk says, Tom, read the comment I wrote 5 minutes ago about rent. It was so long, I can't write it again, but it's crazy. Let me go back and look at it. MZ Really says, really enjoying this beautiful night. Thank you. Thank you for being here. John Connor says, hi. MB says, really, really nice and clear stream. Hey, MB. Hope you're well. This is the FXT Arena right here. I'm going to try to find your comment about, what's it called, the rent. Out and About says, be careful renting as somebody maybe not pay rent and it is hard to evict them. Yeah, so that's why I moved to Florida. So in Florida, it's not like New York City where if somebody doesn't pay rent, the government allows them to stay there. In Florida, if somebody doesn't pay the rent, you call the sheriff and they throw all their stuff on the front lawn. Brad says, where do you see the Southern Florida property values going in the next 12 months? Probably lower, hopefully significantly lower. So Southern Florida real estate is the most volatile real estate in the entire country. And that's mainly due to the job market here, but I think the job market's getting a little bit better as more tech companies are moving to Southern Florida. So what I would say is I think the housing market in Southern Florida should probably cool off and actually go down over the next couple of years. As you know, all the New Yorkers and all the people from Boston pretty much bought all their properties already. So hopefully the real estate market cools down a little bit. Hey, Quant Developer FinTech says very nice camera quality. Thank you, Quant Developer FinTech. Ryan Royal says those hotels and buildings with all the lights are really, really beautiful. What's up, Ryan Royal? Great Walks is no problem, I'll write it again. Yeah, if you could write it again, that'd be good, because the comments are just ripping by. Hey, Daryl says, I've heard that you were on the Walking Commuter live stream today. I was checking out our pal Walking Commuter today. Daryl, hello from Chicago, Illinois. MTR says, venture capitalists just bought a huge apartment complex here in Dallas. This is MTR. Cynthia says, you have a voice of an angel. Hey, thank you, Cynthia. That's very kind of you to say. Cynthia Martinez, hopefully you're having a great Friday and an even better weekend, my friend. RL says some Wall Street firms are moving to Boca Raton, Florida. Yeah, so a lot of my friends that work at big private equity shops are actually down here in Val Harbor and Palm Beach. So the main problem with Florida is that the job market has historically not been as good as New York City, right? So if you talk about the big, the big Wall Street jobs like investment banking, private equity, venture capital, all of those jobs are mainly in New York City, California, Chicago, Boston. They really haven't been in Southern Florida, but now more of those hedge funds and things like that are actually coming to Southern Florida. This car looks pretty cool. MTR says, is Fidelity a good company? I like them. Yes, Fidelity is one of the largest money managers by assets. One of the largest money managers by assets by far. Another thing that I will say is, so Florida is getting better. So I think the Florida real estate market should be less volatile over the next 10 years as opposed to what it used to be. because if we look at the data from the 2008 financial crisis, the market that got hit the most during the '08 financial crisis was actually the Southern Florida market, and I believe I forget the second most impacted market. So historically, the Florida real estate market has been the most volatile because usually people move here for the really nice weather, but in times of bad economic activity, there's no jobs here. People have to go back up north, so they tend to dump the properties. So hopefully, and from what I'm seeing, more investment down in New York City. I mean, not down in New York City, down in Florida, especially Southern Florida with high-paying tech jobs and finance jobs. I think it's going to, make some of the ripples in the real estate market go down, at least in my opinion. Quant Developer Fintechs, was that a Mustang? I think that was one of those Lamborghini trucks, I believe. Chill Beats to Chill says, I think I'm getting a quite good money bonus next week. Honestly, I don't know what to do with it. What do you suggest? So Chill Beats to Chill, if you're getting a lump sum bonus, I would probably find a place to invest it where you can get a pretty good yield on it. Maybe you just park it in an index fund that tracks the S&P 500 for now, just so you have some liquidity going into the end of the year. I guess I would just say it just depends on how big the bonus is. But I would definitely probably try to save it or invest it, for sure. Bob P says, I think second hardest hit was Arizona in 2008. I think you're right. I think, number one, I can almost guarantee was Southern Florida. I think I can almost guarantee that. Number two, I think you may be right, actually. I think you may be right. I think that is number two. The Mighty Bull says, is that Ferris wheel working? I believe it is. Let's see if it's moving. I don't think it's moving right now, Mighty Bull, but... Oh, Lee says it's called a Lambo Urus. Hey, Faith, good to see you here. Sunshine, what's up, Sunshine? Bob P, good to have you here. RL says, can't wait for a daytime stream. So RL, tomorrow, I think it's called Wynwood or something like that. It's like an art district here in Miami. I think I'm gonna walk around there during the day tomorrow. MTR says Florida and Nevada had the most foreclosures in '08. Yeah, oh, you're right. So it was Nevada. So if you think about any place where historically people go to like party in good times, right? So in 2008, when everybody was making a lot of money, everybody was really euphoric, everybody was coming down to Southern Florida to buy a house because it's nice weather. However, back then the job market in Florida was really, really poor, pretty much everywhere. You didn't have all the good tech jobs, you didn't have all the good investment banking jobs, but now I'm seeing that shift a little bit more towards real solid, good jobs here. And one of the reasons why I came down to Southern Florida is because my old CEO, Marcelo, is now running the SoftBank Vision Fund, where they're investing over $100 million into Miami startups. So there is more tech companies here. A lot of my friends in private equity and venture capital that make very good salaries, mid six figures, are here permanently. Carl Icahn is here. And just a lot of older individuals that are parking their net worths here. So I think the Florida real estate market will be less volatile, but I still think it'll be extremely volatile, but less than before. RL says Action Kid 2 took me to my old neighborhood in Brooklyn. Hey, that's awesome. Hey, SoftBank conglomerate, that the founder is Masayoshi's son, or as they call him, his nickname is Masa-san, and they have many. You could think about WeWork, you could think about ARM, which is the British IoT company, and they also had a majority ownership in Sprint, in which case they offloaded that during the merger and acquisition between Sprint and T-Mobile that just happened last year. And now SoftBank is running, I believe, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. It's called their Vision Fund into big tech companies. DJ says, AK, I'm voting next month. Are you on the ballot? Action Kid's running for mayor? Hey, Connor says, nice view. What's up, Connor? John Connor says, hurricanes are cool. Mac914 says, hey, everybody. Oh, Action Kid is here. I didn't see his comment. Hey, Action Kid says, what else impacts the Florida real estate market in big ways? I would think hurricanes for sure. What about baby boomer generation dying off and needing to sell? So I think that's been a big sort of talking point, is about there's a lot of elderly people in Florida. So should they pass away, they would need to sell their estates. I think that implication is really negligible. If not, I would totally dismiss that argument. What's more is Southern Florida real estate has been historically volatile. It's mainly due to the job market and education in schools. Florida has some of the worst public schools, and not to trash too much on that, but it's getting better. It's getting a lot better. So those are the main implications. Is number one is jobs will always be number one, and number two is the quality of institutions, both local and private schools. But again, if you look at the data in 08, the market's worst hit was Florida and Vegas, mainly those because that's where everybody goes to party. But now I think things have changed considerably, and there's a lot of, how should I say, the housing market is completely different today than it was in 2008. The lending standards are extremely tight here. Action Kid says, I heard medical care is challenging down there too. So New York definitely has the best healthcare in any state, bar none. And Florida is not as good as New York. You can't even compare it, not at all. But again, I think like there's a lot of medical schools opening in Southern Florida. So I think this is the very beginning of all of that sort of investment. And I think people are realizing with remote work, they don't have to be in the office in Manhattan to meet with clients. They could be in Southern Florida, or they can be in Texas. I think that's why we've been seeing Austin, Texas have a massive real estate boom, not only in the residential, but in the commercial space as well. But hopefully that explains it a little bit, Action Kid. But the housing market now is completely different than 2008 due to increased regulatory oversight and increased lending standards. So even though the real estate market may be on fire right now, a lot of the brokers I talk to in Southern Florida, they tell me, they're like, look, Tom, we're selling houses for $1 million, and these people are paying cash for these houses. During the 2008 financial crisis, the reason why everything fell apart is because people were putting either no money down, 1% down, 2% down on these houses or these commercial buildings with no income verification at all. And that is not the case today. The lending standards are so strict. For me to get the house, it was next to impossible. They checked everything. I had to go back 3 years in terms of my tax returns, credit reports, calling my old employers. So the environment is extremely different than now. Hey, Lady Coach Explorers says, hello, chat, mods, and host. What's going on, Lady Coach Explorers? MTR says, not cool to sell bad mortgages anymore. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so what MTR is saying is, they were called teaser rates. So they would give you a relatively low interest rate at first, but they wouldn't tell the clients that once interest rates started to go up, now your mortgage payment is actually going up. So if you were planning on only paying, $1,200 a month in your mortgage payment, and interest rates go up 2 points, now you're paying $3,000. And they also had what's called balloon payments in their mortgages too. MZ really says, do you have to become an official resident there, or will you keep New York? No, I'm going to become an official resident of Florida. So I save the 6.85% income tax, and I save the 2 points on the city tax. And this way I can hire an employee. That'll see me 30 grand a year almost. John Connor says, all this is like needed for speed, bro. Such a cool view of the cars right now. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. Lady Coach Explorer says, watching you, Tom. Awesome. You had to 1980. Block party. Miami. Renowned. Prices here are driven up by. Yes. My front section here. All right, I think we're buffering a little bit. Maybe we are done buffering. Let's see. How is it now, everybody? MZ Relay says, oh yeah, that's a lot of tax savings. It really is. Linda says, many people from all over the country travel to New York City for healthcare. New York City has the absolute best healthcare in the world. Absolute best healthcare in the world. Hey, Annalisa says, hey everybody. DJ says, the humidity is bad as everyone mentions, Tom. So it's really, really humid in southern Florida. However, I actually like humidity. I'm a very, very strange and weird person, so I actually do like humidity. Action Kid says you can save even more money by being a resident of Puerto Rico. 4% corporate tax and 0% capital gains. Yes, Action Kid, that is right. So Action Kid, check out this guy. His name is Peter Schiff, and he runs Euro Pacific Capital and Euro Pacific Bank. And right now, Peter Schiff is in the middle of the largest tax fraud investigation in the history of the world. This guy's name is Peter Schiff and Euro Pacific Bank. So he has his bank set up in Puerto Rico, and his dad, Fred Schiff, actually went to jail for tax evasion. But Peter Schiff is arguably, in my opinion, one of the world's, I shouldn't say that, but he's a very good economist. I really, really like Peter Schiff. I disagree with him on Bitcoin. However, he is a good economist. I disagree with his viewpoints on Bitcoin, but he is a very, very good economist. Action Kid says, I know Peter Schiff. Hey, so Euro Pacific Bank, he's in a big fraud investigation for tax fraud, the largest ever in the world. Hey, Obama says Saudi King had a heart operation in New York City. Humidity is 74%. Damn, so high. I really don't realize it very much. Are there any concerns with sinkholes in Miami? I really don't know about that. I've never heard that. I mean, please God, but when I was on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, I saw this guy's entire brownstone cave in. The entire brownstone caved in from a sinkhole. It was insane. I think this was on 97th Street and West End Avenue. It was absolutely insane. Out and About says he is CEO and Chief Global Strategist at Euro Pacific Capital, a broker-dealer based in Westport, Connecticut. Yeah, so they moved their operations to Puerto Rico, but they were based in Connecticut. You're 100% right, Out and About. So this is the Southeast Financial Center here in Miami. The Mighty Bull says lots of parties in Miami. Hey, Monica Erickson is here from Sweden. What's up, Monica? Good to have you here. RL says lots of sinkholes in Tampa Bay. MB says, wow, never imagined sinkholes in Manhattan. So I could imagine sinkholes in Manhattan because if you think about it, Manhattan is essentially like Swiss cheese with all the subways and everything there. Oh wow, look at this guy. Cool. That's some skaters. But yeah, Florida is if you think about Florida is all swamp and marshland, right? So we're building all these massive buildings on pretty much sand. So I'm surprised these buildings aren't just sinking into the earth, in my opinion. Hey, Quant Developer FinTech says good night all. Good night, Quant Developer FinTech. We'll see you later. Chill Beats to Chill says, for example, if Netflix is $100, we got to pay $180. Phil P says, what do you think about Kellogg's strike, making $1 billion profit this year, screwing the workers? So Phil P, we were actually talking about that earlier in the stream. I said workers are in a historic position to negotiate their salaries with their employees. So I think you're going to see power overturned back to the employees, and they're either going to get better working conditions, better benefits, and also large pay increases. Hey, Phil says limestone erosion due to salt water. Has anyone seen the Swan? Yes, Monica, the Swan was just on not too long ago, 2 streams ago. Hey, Brad says, Tom, I believe you said you bought a multifamily in Miami. Were you able to buy where the tenants pay most or all of the mortgage? So Brad, I actually bought a single family home where the layout, I can build a wall to make 2 separate entrances. Now, it's great that you brought that up because I have yet to decide whether I'm gonna rent out the individual rooms or if I'm just gonna rent it out to tenants. If I rent out the individual rooms, this thing is going to cash flow $500 over the mortgage every month. So it'll be like getting paid to buy the house. It's gonna cash flow like insanity. However, if I rent out the entire house, next year I'm eligible to rent out the entire house. It'll cover the mortgage and the tenants will pay for the house for me, which is good. So yes, the way I structured and modeled the deal, it's a very good deal, and this thing will cash flow like insanity. Sam says, good night, everybody. What's up, Sam? Is from Toronto, Canada. Appreciate you. Sam says, all right, Tom, have a good night. I hit the like button, everybody. Appreciate that, Sam. Thank you for hitting that like button. Action Kids says, I've heard of people living in Puerto Rico and using their private residences or their private planes to fly, sorry, the comments are going so fast, to different islands in the Caribbean and the mainland US, claiming they're a Puerto Rican resident. Shady tax evasion. Oh, there's tons of tax evasion there for sure. Out and About says, Peter Schiff net worth $70 million. I think he's probably worth a little more than that. Lady O says, good night. Take it easy, Lady O. Good to see you. Always good to have you here. DJ, good to see you. Ren says, just make sure you get along with your tenants. Very good piece of advice, Ren. Very good piece of advice. Roy S says, hi, Tom and all mods. Hope everybody is okay and ready for the weekend. Amy says, what kind of mortgage did you get? FHA loan? No, I got a conventional loan. I got a conventional loan because I own my own business. So I had to put a ridiculous amount of money down. I was gonna buy the thing in cash, but I had to put 25% down on the mortgage. So my mortgage is like basically nothing. It's nothing. So if I rent out the individual rooms, the place is gonna cash flow like insanity. If I Airbnb the place, the thing is gonna make a ridiculous amount of money. But I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to rush in and do all that just yet. You know, I just moved in the place, and plus I need to do a lot of work in the backyard, and I don't want to rent it out to tenants if I have a liability in the backyard of, you know, concrete that's all ripped up. So we'll have to see. Oil Wealth says, you need to cross over the bridge to Brickell. Different night scene, Oil Wealth. We definitely will do that. RL says, TGIS. Out and About says, you have a room for your parents to stay. Yes, I do. DJ says, I have to go. Have a good night, Tom. Love the stream. DJ, happy Friday and have a fantastic weekend. It's always a pleasure to see you, and it's always a pleasure to have you on the stream, DJ. So thank you so much. But yes, I had to get a conventional loan. Starving Artist says, I hope you get good tenants and not destroy the place when you were in New York. I hope so too. Phil says, get flood insurance. So Phil, I was looking for a house for 3 years. So my home is in the only area in Miami-Dade County, the only area, it's like a mile square long area of Miami-Dade County where it's not in a flood zone. The place has never flooded in the history of Miami. It's crazy. So it's very, very good. Phil Pieces, you think inflation is going to go through the roof soon by Xmas, gas prices skyrocketing. Action Kids says you still need to ride the Metro Move ride. No, we definitely do. So yes, so we were just talking about that. I think we are going to see a second wave of inflation. So I think by the end of this month or November, you're going to see a second wave of inflation, in my opinion, that is going to take people by surprise and absolutely rip people's faces off. And people are going to get upset, and I think the Biden administration is going to have to step in and do something about it. And the reason why I think that is because we have to look at alternative asset classes. So Bitcoin just closed at a weekly all-time record high. And if you look at the fund flows in the cryptocurrencies, the largest two being Bitcoin and Ethereum, it has been the largest fund flows into cryptocurrencies ever. And if you look at on-chain analysis, the oldest holders of Bitcoin are adding to their positions and not selling. So I think they're using Bitcoin and Ethereum as an inflation hedge. The reason I say that is because gold and silver has been flat to negative. When you have an outstanding bid in cryptocurrencies. So I think we're going to see an amazing, amazing rip in inflation, which is not good, which is definitely not good, but I do believe we're going to see what's called a second wave of inflation, definitely within the next month or two. Daryl says Biden won't care what the public says, perhaps. Faith, how are you? MB says we're starting to feel it with the increases in prices everywhere. Yeah, and crude oil closed over $80 a barrel for the first time, I think since 08, I think. And I agree with many of the investment banks about their $100 price target on crude oil. John says, where is Don Francisco? Not sure. Ming Foster says, let's go, Brandon. That's funny. Lena says, we were oil independent. Now we have dependent on other countries for it. What a mistake. Yeah, I mean, I could go down that rabbit hole all night for sure. Obama says London banks mess with gold. Look at gold in other currency. Yeah, I mean, it's still down to flat. But what you're talking about is the paper derivative market, which we've actually dedicated an entire live stream to, Obama. In terms of silver, the major investment banks like BNP Paribas and JP Morgan Chase are consistently fined for manipulating the price of silver. And one of the ways they do that is through the derivatives market. It's actually called the paper market. So when you see major selling in silver and gold, it's really not physical silver. It's actually the paper derivative being dumped on the market by the investment banks. And they've gotten fined for it many times. Faith says, I'm taking a screenshot of the buildings you're showing. Awesome. Hey, Sally says, beautiful views, Tom. Sally, hope you're well. Rosie says, buenos noches. Buenos noches, Rosie. MB says, do you think owning precious metals is a good investment? MB, what I could say about precious metals is I think they're in an inverse asset bubble. I think due to the fact that the Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates at artificially low levels, I think it's creating asset bubbles in the equities market and in the real estate market, but it's also creating inverse asset bubbles. So what do I mean by that? So in a low interest rate environment, usually precious metals such as gold and silver will quote unquote stay artificially suppressed because rates are so low. So when rates are low, investors are forced out into the marketplace to look for yield. they're forced to generate alpha in terms of yield at big mega cap tech companies or startup tech companies that are growing very fast, or really any equity in general. So I think it's creating an inverse asset bubble in things like physical silver, in things like gold. So I do think it is advantageous to have some exposure to the physical underlying asset, not the derivative, not SLV, but physical silver for a long-term wealth preservation tool. But I would keep the allocation probably around 2% of your overall net worth, in my opinion. DJ says, Tom, show us the faces on the bridge coming up. Oh yes, I have to do that. I definitely will. Phil P says, you think the stock market will crash too with inflation going up like it did in 2008? Phil P, so number one, so Phil, if you want to look on my channel, click on my community page and I post a free financial newsletter every Sunday. But to answer your question, no, I actually, due to the earnings that we just had from the financials, which were extremely strong, I'm expecting new all-time record highs for the S&P 500 before the end of the year. That's what I'm expecting based upon the monetary policy. The Federal Reserve is still buying $140 billion in assets every single month. I don't see interest rates going up anytime soon. And we just got the green light, all systems go for good financial earnings from JP Chase, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and we had a nice rally on Wall Street this week with the S&P 500 closing above its 50-day moving average. So I think we are out of our correction that we had. I could be wrong, but I believe we are out of the correction, very brief market correction that we had. So I think due to the low interest rates from the Federal Reserve, and that 10-year yield. So I know I say this ad nauseum. The most important thing to look at in terms of the stock market is actually the debt market and the credit market, because the equities market is a derivative, and a derivative is something that derives value from an underlying asset. So a derivative is something that derives its value from an underlying asset, right? So the equities market derives its value from the debt market and the bond market and the credit markets. So if the credit market isn't freezing up, if there's plentiful liquidity within the credit market and the debt market, what the number one thing I look at is that 10-year treasury yield. If the 10-year treasury yield is stable to lower, that's stock market positive. But should rates increase over time, I think that's very stock market negative, because the majority of the weighting in the S&P are these very large mega cap tech stocks. And it's very negative for growth stocks, because if you think about a lot of these high growth tech companies that are trading at 20 times sales or 20 times earnings, when interest rates go up, these companies' earnings are now worth less today, because investors are willing to pay more for future earnings down the line. So in a low interest rate environment, their earnings are worth more in the future. In a high interest rate environment, their earnings are worth less now in the future. Does that make sense? Hey, £5. Thank you so much for the hydration funds, is Diana Lee. I really appreciate the support, Diana Lee. So Phil, I'm not expecting a stock market crash in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that is my view based upon the risk assessment in the debt market. So these are supposed to be faces, but I'm not seeing any faces. Are you guys seeing faces here? Obama says, look at the price of palladium. That was $250 an ounce when gold was $500 an ounce. Marty Lewis says, are those faces or am I seeing things? I'm not seeing the faces, but somebody said these are faces. Ren says a little bit. Let's see if we can see it on the first one. Would you ever go to space? Yes, I would. Here's your hydration. Faith says no faces. Marty Lewis says, I saw faces, but I wondered if it was an illusion. Monica says, high on a lot of lists everywhere. Diana Lee, thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. John Connor says that flag is like Chile, real flag, not the Republic. Photos from around New York says those columns look really, really cool. Hunter Butler says I started listening to The Creature on Jekyll Island yesterday. Hey, that's a great book. You're gonna love that book. You're really gonna enjoy that book. Ryan Royal says the faces are on the other side. Walk back a little. All right, we will. Let's do it, because I'm interested in these faces. Somebody was grilling me on the faces last time, and I forgot, and I felt so bad. So are you talking about from this side? You know what, I can. So this is one eye, that's one eye, and this is the nose. Is that right? Hey, Diego from Brazil. Good to see you, Diego. Hope you're well. So I never thought the Miami skyline would be as good as it is, but it is really nice. Photos from around New York says I saw the faces from the other side. Westlake, New Zealand says, hi everybody from New Zealand, good evening. What is up, Westlake, New Zealand? Hey, our best friend Sunshine New York says, hello Tom, hope you're enjoying Miami. Sunshine New York, happy Friday. Thank you for the best wishes. I really, really do appreciate it. So I think I do see the faces here, I think. BB says I can see faces now. Marty Lewis says faces were more visible as you approached the columns earlier. So everybody, if anybody is new to the channel, we usually skateboard around New York City and Miami, which we will resume very, very soon. And we talk about finance and technology. And if you want to read a free financial newsletter that I write every single Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, feel free to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. And you can view all the other newsletters on the YouTube community page. Ryan Royals is back up the hill a little bit, up the road. Yeah, we'll do one more walk around up the road. Sunshine New York says, hello everyone and good to see you all. Sunshine, it's amazing to have you here as always. M. Wall says you were facing the right way now. Evaldo Oliveira says tomorrow make a day video showing Miami Beach. All right, we may see the art district in Miami next tomorrow. Photos from around New York says how is the house? So the house is very good. The house is very, very good. I still need to do a little bit of renovations. Coffee shop pop-up inside. Very cool. Obama says, I collect gold records, gold investment. Yeah, so I actually know a person who is very big in collecting physical silver as well. So a lot of people are precious metals collectors. That's cool. So I could see the face in this one. This looks like the nose, the eyes, the face. Do you still have the cats? Yes, I named the cat Skates. Obama says, be careful of Miami art galleries. I will be careful, Obama. Hey, our friend Sunshine New York says, missed everybody, been making major life changes. I'm loving my decisions. Hey, Sunshine, good for you. I'm happy to hear that, Sunshine. Jonathan says, looks like your Verizon is working well in Miami. Streaming is beautiful and your great voice is very clear. Hey, Jonathan, thank you, man. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Phil P says, isn't Miami super crowded now? I heard too many people, a lot moving there and more crime. Everybody's been asking me about crime. Every time I'm in New York, it's how's the crime? I've never experienced crime. I don't know why. Maybe I'm lucky. I've never experienced crime in real life. I mean, knock on wood. Sunshine After Rain says, lovely view, Tom. Yeah, I love it down here. Look at this. This looks like two eyes, a nose, and a mouth right here. This looks cool. Obama says that's music records when records sell million copies. Nice. Out and About says straight ahead, the faces look more visible. They do, they definitely do. Bob P says, Tom, what year did you make your first investment? And do you remember what it was? Ooh, Bob, that's a good question. I think the first investment that I made, oh, I know what it was. The first real investment that I ever made was I bought Starbucks. That was my first stock I ever bought, was Starbucks. Ticker symbol SBUX. That was the first stock I ever bought. Because I admired Howard Schultz so much. And the reason I think why I bought Starbucks is because when I was a college kid, I really, really wanted a job at Starbucks. Because I wanted to work at a Starbucks store on Park Avenue in New York City so I could network with all the investment bankers that would come into the Starbucks. That was my plan. I'm like, I'm gonna get a job on Wall Street by getting a job at Starbucks and networking with all the managing directors that come in. It was ridiculous, ridiculous way to think. Quite hilarious, actually, looking back. But then again, it's actually not a bad idea, and I applied to every single Starbucks location in New York City, and I got my application denied at every single one of them, and I didn't get one interview. I didn't even get one interview. But hey, maybe I'm not cut out for the job. This place is so cool back here, guys. MTR says Bernie made off with everybody's money. Hey, Mac 914 says, how's the World Cup qualifying going in North America? I think the United States won its first game, didn't they? Monica says crime moved to Sweden, I think. That's not good. Ren 10 says, what building is this? I'm not too sure what building this is. I think it's a hotel or an apartment complex. M. Wall says, I think you're safer in New York when on the skateboard, aka hard to hit a moving target. M. Wall, I think I have to agree with you, my friend. Wow, check this out, everybody. So we're overlooking the water and all the palm trees. Really, really beautiful here. Wow, this place is fantastic. We have to do a stream during the day. I bet this place looks amazing during the day. Roy S says, but at least you managed working in one of those stores in Times Square. Yeah, I used to work in a store called Express in Times Square. MTR says, buy pork bellies. All-Star Eagle says, are you ready for Halloween? I am ready for Halloween. Oh, guys, check this one out. I think this one is the most clear face. Check it out. You have the two eyes. You have the nose and the mouth right here. Diana Lee says, very spacious building. Hey, Tom is here, says nobody fishing. I don't see anybody fishing. Evaldo says, looks like chocolate pillars. That's funny. Hey, Faith. British Gray says, beautiful view. Hey, British Gray is here. British Gray is our pal from Tampa, Florida. Always a pleasure to have you on the stream, Miss British Gray. Dogman says, Express, I think one of those meme stocks now. Let me tell you something, Dogman, it was the worst job I have ever had in my life. It was traumatic. So I used to work the night shift at the Express retail store in Times Square. I used to get in at 9 o'clock at night, and I would get my eyes were gonna start to bleed. Perfect for swimming drunk, very interesting. Sunshine New York says, is this a hotel? It must be some sort of hotel and residences, I believe, too, Sunshine, because on the parking garage it said residences as well. Gene says that is creepy, like Hawaiian spirit mask. Tom says Easter Island is very drunk. Hey, the Mighty Bull says loving the screenshots and conversation. Hey, so the Mighty Bull, everybody, if you don't know, the Mighty Bull is a fantastic, fantastic member of the channel. Very good guy, great guy, fantastic guy. And he has a Facebook page where he posts screenshots from all of the streamers' live streams. So if you think about Action Kid, all of the major streamers, fantastic, beautiful screenshots. I'm gonna put a link in the Nightbot where it'll be a link to the Mighty Bull's Facebook page. I haven't had a chance to do that now, or yet, because I don't have my computer with me. But I definitely will program the Mighty Bulls Facebook page into the Nightbot. Sunshine, New York is interesting architecture. Look at this one. You see the two eyes, the nose, and the mouth. This one is super cool. Hey, Elizabeth is here. Says, hi, Tom. What's up, Elizabeth? Hope you're well. MB says, Express is at the clothing store. Sunshine, New York says, UGG retail. I know. Sunshine, it was terrible. I think it was mainly terrible because I was just so tired all the time. So tired, exhausted. This is probably one of the most beautiful places I've been to so far in Miami. Gene says, Tom, what's up, Gene? Lee says, Icon Brickell Condos sales and rentals, says Lee. Good evening, Gene. Elizabeth, good to have you here. Yen 10 says, the face is the highlight of today's live stream. Hey, thank you. Ren says, lots of young party goers. MTR says, bet you didn't know the Fed in New York City and Chase Bank sub-basement vaults are connected. Yes, they are. That's right there near the Deutsche Bank. I used to work right there. Elizabeth says, when are you coming back to New York? So I'm coming back to New York on Monday morning. I will be flying from Miami International Airport to John F. Kennedy Airport at 9 o'clock in the morning. M. Wall says, Hotel W Miami 458 Brickell, 485 Brickell Avenue. Phil P says, did you hit it big off stock market so you can live in Miami now? No. I'm trying to save money on my taxes because I started a technology consulting business, and I registered my business, incorporated it in New York. I incorporated my company in New York, and I absolutely got hammered. I'm talking about I got my face ripped clean off with the taxes, so I can't afford it. I'm going to go out of business if I don't leave and save money and build the company in a more business-friendly state. And then I hope to open up an office in New York City. But as of right now, I consult. My main customer is one of the largest MSPs, or managed service providers, in the United States, and I am a sub-agent under them as of now. Hey, Brian says, Tom, what are your thoughts on why in 2008 our country was so damaged by the economic crisis, but with COVID-19 in 2019 and 2020, we were able to avoid economic disaster? Yeah, so Brad, I think that's a great question. I think the ramifications are very, very different. In the 2008 financial crisis, you had the savings and loan and the mortgage crisis, which essentially everybody was defaulting on their loans at the same time because nobody could afford to pay their mortgage because they were suckered in unethically by investment bankers and mortgage brokers to enter teaser rates, something called a teaser rate, with don't ask, don't tell. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired here. Essentially, there was no income verification for these loans. So everybody was writing what's called subprime loans. So they were giving away mortgages and lending out $200,000 to $300,000 and more to people who could never afford to pay back these loans because they didn't have the appropriate income, and they would sucker these people in with an extremely low income, extremely low interest rate, in which case they were only teaser rates, they're called. So in other words, they were an adjustable rate mortgage. And essentially that means once interest rates start to go up, your mortgage payment actually also goes up in tandem with the interest rate. That's why now, if anybody is going to get a mortgage, you have to make sure your mortgage is what's called a fixed rate product. You have to make sure your mortgage is a fixed rate mortgage so that when interest rates go up, you're still locked in at that low rate. So in 2008, it was a massive contagion because investment banks had so many of these subprime loans on their books. So when every time the investment banks had amazing amounts of exposure to these subprime loans, which essentially crashed and cratered and put many of the investment banks out of business. So the Federal Reserve actually had to step in and bail them out. With the coronavirus pandemic, this was very different because the health of the overall economy was actually very strong. And the Federal Reserve came in, lowered interest rates immediately, administered payments to everybody, and backstopped the economy. And there was not any major defaults on residential real estate as well as commercial real estate. So very two different situations, but both were essentially averted and avoided by the Federal Reserve, which the chairman of the Federal Reserve is Jerome Powell. Fed Chair Jerome Powell lowered interest rates to pretty much zero and is continuously buying billions of dollars in not only mortgage-backed securities, but in US Treasury bills to backstop the equities market. Sunshine New York says, love the palm trees. I love them too. These are amazing. Faith says, have you thought of contracting with the government? Yeah, so I've done some government work so far. I had a little bit of a piece in the Union County, New Jersey, Bridging the Digital Divide project. So I was actually working on that. That was a pretty good payday, and we actually did a lot of good work for Union County, New Jersey. Phil P says, would your tech bills being in Florida help you taxes minimize? Yes, it definitely the taxes will be minimized. Tom says, we are not done with COVID yet, by the way, says Tom. MTR says, Tom, can you explain what Robinhood did and why? Can you clarify that a little bit, MTR? What you mean, what Robinhood did? I'm assuming that you're talking about why everybody is so upset with Robinhood. And they shouldn't be upset with Robinhood because you get what you pay for. Essentially, everybody was upset with Robinhood because it turns out they're trying to make free stock trading. But the way they're doing free stock trading is something called payment for order flow. So essentially, let's say if you buy one share of Apple on Robinhood, Robinhood is actually not settling your trade. They're selling it to quantitative firms on Wall Street, such as a Two Sigma, a Citadel, a Jump Trading, or any of those quantitative shops, in which case they're market makers. So essentially they're selling your order flow, and that's why you don't have to pay a commission to buy and sell securities. So everybody in the Reddit crowd is all upset, saying that essentially Robinhood is in cahoots with Citadel, with Two Sigma, and all these other quantitative trading firms on Wall Street to try to pull one over on the retail investor. But that's not the case at all. Robinhood is just a garbage platform. I would never personally use it, but it allows people commission-free trading because they sell your order flow to market makers on Wall Street that then in turn make a little bit of money off the bid and the ask spread. It's called payment for order flow. It's been going on for years, but ever since the coronavirus pandemic, there's been an influx of people trading in the stock market that have no idea about finance. So they think that this concept is so foreign and so ridiculous when it's actually a common standard practice, which has actually helped reduce commissions on Wall Street to near zero and help retail investors. So payment for order flow is actually extremely good because these people haven't been around long enough to remember when commissions were $50 for the buy and the sell. Now they're zero, and the way they were able to get them down to zero is due to algorithmic trading and quantitative research firms. So that was sort of the whole Robinhood debacle. Hopefully that makes sense. It's called payment for order flow. Diana Lee says, Tom, please don't fall over the roots and end up in the water. I actually wouldn't mind that, honestly. Hey, Daniela, or Daniel, says hello from Argentina. Welcome everybody from Argentina. MTR says they bought all of GameStop. I don't know about that. Gene says Wall Street scapegoat, when you return to Miami again, Sir Tom, may want to do a broad causeway walk to Bal Harbor.
Yes, we definitely will do that. I promise. I definitely promise we will do that. Could you imagine watching the sunset here? We have to definitely do a stream for the sunset here, for sure. Lisa's Miami water temperature is 80 degrees. Wow. Chad says, I use Webull. Nice, Chad. Kiki says, you don't own the stock when investing through Robinhood. No, so you do own the stock, but it's called settlement. So the way that they settle your trades is through routing it through another broker dealer or what's called a market maker on Wall Street. So there's something called the bid and the ask, right? It's a spread. And these quantitative algorithmic trading shops, they make money by stealing a couple pennies off the bid and the ask spread. It's called the spread. So Robinhood is essentially saying, hey, we have 2 orders of Apple. Let me sell it to Citadel. Let me sell it to 2 Sigma. They'll make the market. They'll make a couple pennies, and then they return the shares to you. In return, you probably get filled at a little bit worse of a price, but it's not that big of a deal because you're not paying $5 to $6. And even back in the 80s, sometimes people were paying $50 for commissions. Lisa's Naples, Florida on West Coast, 90 minutes, always better sunset, says Lee. Daryl says, hey Tom, just watch Action Kid videos of Florida earlier, this for reference, says Daryl. Awesome. Bob P says, folks, please, when buying a stock, don't never do a market order, do limit orders yourself to get the full price you want. Yeah, so Bob P, a limit order is essentially, you know, if you say I want to buy, this is totally made up, but if you just want to buy a 1 share of Apple at say $300.01, the limit order will only execute your price at that price. A market order is just going to give you like the last price, but there's actually rules and regulations now where even if you put in a market order, they can't be super egregious, you know, and overcharge you like $2. It needs to be, they need to give you the best price. It's actually a rule now, but that's definitely true. Mark Davis says, Tom, hoping one day you do shared stream with Lizzo or Johnny Strides in Toronto. I definitely want to do that, 100%. Obama says market stops didn't help in 2000 crash. Had stop at 50. When it closed trade, it was 20. I'm not sure what that means, Obama. Beautiful nights of sunshine. MTR says, do you like seafood? I do. Hey, Patrick New York is here. What's up, Patrick? Good to see you here, Patrick New York. Always a pleasure. Do you like follow trust? Do you like follow trust like his BH? He seems like a good, honest man. Yeah, Buffett is regarded as one of the greatest investors of all time. Value investors. Hey, the one and only Jimmy Anderson is here. Says, cheers, my dude. Awesome view. What's up, Jimmy? So everybody, Jimmy Anderson is our pal on the stream, and he has a new podcast called the Beer and Bets Podcast. So be sure to check out our pal Jimmy Anderson's podcast. Gloria says, hello, what is a good app choice for beginner investors? What do you think of Coinbase? So Coinbase is for a cryptocurrencies exchange. Coinbase is not for trading equities. But me personally, I use Charles Schwab and Interactive Brokers. In my opinion, I would stay very far away from all of the discount broker dealers. That includes places like Robinhood and Webull and all those other ones. I would stay far away from those. That's just in my opinion. You want to go with the reputable, time-tested and trusted broker dealer, especially if you're going to be running a lot of money and you're going to be putting your retirement in there. I would never put large sums of money in Robinhood or anything like that. But me personally, I use Charles Schwab and Interactive Brokers. And for cryptocurrency purchases, I use Gemini, which is a brokerage platform for cryptocurrencies invented by the Winklevoss twins. Obama says you don't get stopped out. Oil Wealth says slippage, ouch. Yeah, so slippage is, so you have to worry about slippage if you are a day trader, but I don't day trade at all. I think it's statistically skewed against people, unless you work at a quantitative trading firm. Do we wear masks anymore in the United States? Yes, I have mine right here. MTR says, if a publicly traded company goes bankrupt, who gets paid first? Usually the bondholders. Charles Schwab is a great firm, says Patrick. Obama says bondholders. Yep, exactly. MZ Really says, what do you think of stock advice from Angry Dude on TV? From James Cramer? You know, a lot of people give Cramer a lot of crap. Cramer's not bad. Cramer's not bad in all honesty. But I mean, in my opinion, the three greatest investment books of all time would have to be Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Phil Fisher, How to Make Money in Stocks by William J. O'Neill, which is the founder of Investors Business Daily. And I also like Peter Lynch, Peter Lynch's book, One Up on Wall Street. So this is the Bank of America building, and Bank of America reported exceptional earnings. Marty Lewis says, I have Schwab accounts, I am retired. Yeah, Marty, Schwab is great. So this is, I think, one of the most expensive hotels in Miami. This is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. Patrick New York says, love Jim Cramer. Phil P says, how did you learn or know so much about stocks? I've just always been interested in how companies work. So I don't really think about stocks as like the little lines on the chart or anything like that. I think about it as the fundamental underlying business. I think I'm interested more in business than the intraday price moves. I'm interested in the profitability, how good their company's return on equity is, its cash flows. In turn, that's how you get into investing. So I think I've just been very, very interested in sort of that aspect to investing, is valuation of companies. Hey, Miami PD Live Radio Scanners here again. Says, a mojito is $25 at the Mandarin Oriental. Jimmy Anderson says, you are the man. If they search beer and bets, we pop up. Thank you, Tom. Really, thanks, Tom. You have the best views on your channel. No problem, Jimmy. Always good to have you here. MTR says, thought it was Class A stockholders. Thanks. Well, sometimes, you know, there's Class B, A, B, and C stock, but sometimes there's not. There's different classifications of stock, but not all the time. Dogman says, you put yourself out there, you are going to be wrong at times. People are going to judge based on your losers. He is entertaining at times, at the very least. Yeah, Dogman, I mean, nobody is right 100% of the time. So the greatest investors of all time are only right at max 40% of the time. And I think the greatest investors, they'll even be the first ones to tell you, it's not about being right or wrong. We're interested in making money. So it's not about having a massive ego. You know, I have a wrong investment thesis all the time. But if the trade is going against me, I cut the loss and just chalk it up to, I'm wrong. I don't have any pride at all. I just couldn't care less. Phil P says, so you're like Warren B, decides, studies companies to invest in too. Yes. DJ says, any hot fishing spots yet, Tom? I haven't seen any fishing spots as of yet. Then again, I haven't really been looking that much, to be honest. Dogman says, it's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong. Very interesting. Charlie Richardson says, how is a company evaluated to know how much it's worth? So it's usually dependent on the cash flows, right? So finance is all about discounting cash flows into the future. Kiki says, the reason these stocks and monetary-based businesses have done so well is the stimulus. People poured the money back into the economy. People are still struggling, says Kiki. Very good take, Kiki. Very good take, our pal Kiki from Rochester. This is the Citibank Tower here in Miami. MTR says I got first issue NYSE, went public at $34. Wow. Jimmy Anderson says, how have you been enjoying Miami? I've been enjoying it a lot. The weather's great. The people are great. I really, really love it here so far, Jimmy. Hey, Tom says, I'm blue because nobody's fishing. Diana Lee says, I would love to kayak in the water. I know. I'll try to show you guys the water. I'm not sure how well it's going to come out. Jimmy Anderson says, awesome dude, you always manage to find the dopest picture spots. Appreciate that, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Hey, Miami PD live radio scanner says, for good backcountry fishing, Flamingo, Southwest Florida Park, Everglades National Park. Awesome. Lisa says 1 a.m. in Miami. Is it really? Yikes. Phil P says, do you watch the stock market every day by day? Do you get nervous? Pull out if you see big losses? Not really, because I'm not a day trader. I'm mainly a positions trader. So I'll do my fundamental analysis on a company, and then you really got to give it 3 or 4 earnings reports in order to really see price appreciation in any stock. And you got to be willing to sit. The point of investing is time in the market, not timing the market. So there's actually been studies that the majority of people should probably just dollar cost average into a low cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500 and hold it for the remainder of their life, because stock prices are predicated on their future earnings growth. So if you think that earnings are going to grow into the future, then I would definitely continue to hold and invest in the stock market. You must invest. All right, everybody, my phone is on 10% battery, so I do have to cut the stream short. I said we were only gonna be on for an hour tonight. 2.5 hours later, everybody. We had a lot of fun. We recovered and recapped the big rally week on Wall Street. We covered the major investment bank earnings, and we talked about the Bitcoin going to the moon, its highest weekly close ever on record. I believe Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will continue to be an inflation hedge. And we will pick up right here tomorrow, everybody, and hopefully we will stream during the day. So I wish all of you a very happy and healthy weekend. I really do appreciate everybody joining, really do appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for making these streams fantastic. I love having these conversations with all of you. I get to hear so many different types of perspectives from everybody across a huge diverse range of industries. So I really do appreciate the conversations. Everybody have a great weekend. I will talk to you tomorrow. If you are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. We go live almost every day. And every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will upload my Behind the Street newsletter. And you can feel free to read that newsletter on my YouTube community page every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Gene, thank you. Diana Lee, Zap, Allen, Tom, Phil P. I appreciate you, Phil P. Faith, always good to see you. Patrick, New York, thank you for joining. Alice, thank you. Mac 914, our good moderator. Sunshine After Rain and Sunshine, New York, I appreciate it. DJ M Wall, thank you so much. I appreciate you, M Wall. MZ Really, Brandy, thank you. MTR, Mark Davis, Sally, Miami PD live radio scanner. I believe you are a newer member to the stream, so it's a pleasure to be here in Miami, in your beautiful city. So thank you for the warm welcome. Photos from around New York, Sally, British Gray, Diana Lee, and I will see you all in the next one. Jay, thank you for watching. Ryan Royal, Jimmy Anderson, and 48. I really have to go, everybody. I got to catch the bus, but have a great weekend. Be safe, be healthy, Stay positive, stay optimistic, and I will see you all in the next one. And the Mighty Bull. How could I forget the Mighty Bull? We'll see you later, everybody. Sunshine after rain. Thank you. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great weekend.